Hey everybody, Star6Wars1 here, and welcome to the next Persona 3 vs 11 Eyes video. For this one, we are going to be taking a look at the respective stories of 11 Eyes and Persona 3. Now, first we're going to begin with 11 Eyes, and I will only mostly be talking about the anime, though I will give some brief mentions to the visual novel of what little I do know about it. The story is mostly about Kakeru trying to become stronger so he can end the Red Knight and protect Yuka and all of his friends. That's basically the plot in a nutshell. However, I do think it's a decent plot, and you do grow to like it over time. The trouble begins around the halfway point when Yuka starts going insane due to all the grief she suffers in the Red Knight, all the pressures of Kakeru, and everything else that's going on. Yeah. I think that's around the point where the story starts falling apart. At least with Kakeru's and Misuzu and Yuka's involvement. Takahisa and Yukiko do not fall apart ever. I think they're the best characters of the show because of this. Unfortunately, once both Takahisa and Yukiko die, everything falls apart. The story, unfortunately, is adapted into a very short anime where I truthfully think it needed to be just a tad bit longer. I'm not gonna say like it's gonna be perfect if it was longer, but unfortunately, so much of the anime just need to be a little longer, just not be as, oh, this plot point is this plot point, it's this plot point, in very rapid succession. You were introduced to so many plot points that's ridiculous by the second half. And they're poorly explained. Like the Holy Office of the Index is briefly mentioned upon, where it is given a bit more story towards it in the visual novel. So basically, the story rushes through towards the end, and I think it actually hurts the series because they realized, oh crap, we only developed half the show, and now we gotta just rush the rest through, leaving for an unsatisfying conclusion, honestly. Sorry to be the bearer of that bad news, but I really think the story of 11 Eyes just kind of falls apart after a while. It's still good, don't get me wrong, and it does have some strong points. It's just, it could have been a lot better, is all I'm saying. Now for Persona 3. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I think the story's a hell of a lot better. It's complete, it tells a complete story, just finishes it up and everything else. If I did have to complain about one thing Persona 3's story, however, is that during certain sections of the story where it becomes a lull between like important plot events, this story takes a back seat and just kind of lies down for a while. And yeah, it's kind of slow during those points of the game, and they're usually the most dragged out. Not helped by some of the just events being, the bigger events being in between of long periods of time where not much is going on. So yeah, the story of Persona 3 isn't flawless either. I do like the story a hell of a lot more than 11 Eyes, admittedly, so you already know what the winner is, but I will say it's not perfect either. It has some really slow points, and there are a few moments that just come right the fuck out of nowhere. But again, I don't mind it so much because I just really got into the story from the very beginning, where you just have to fight the Dark Hour and find a way to eradicate it forever. That's the plot, that's the basic plot, although there's much more to it, but I won't completely spoil it here. So there's that. Honestly, I really like the story, so not much more needs to be said. As I mentioned during my Persona 3 segment, I think the winner of this is Persona 3. Honestly, as much as I like the story of 11 Eyes, I love the story of Persona 3 to death. And I just wouldn't have it any other way. Anyways, that's all from me. This has been Star 6 Wars 1. And next time for Persona 3 vs 11 Eyes, we're going to take a look at the endings to both shows. And games, whatever. See you guys then.